Hey there, this is your girl Candace Stuff coming at you all the way live from sunny South Florida. And in today's video, in week 5 of the Pantry Challenge, I'm going to show you 3 high protein breakfasts that I made. I know sometimes we have a hard time getting a good start to our day, getting in those 30 grams of protein. I want to show you how to get those 30 grams of protein in with your breakfast in the morning. And I prepared some really simple dishes that you can use to go ahead and do that. So you're going to see me cook that. In my next video, I'm going to be showing you some simple dinners that I prepared that are also high protein. And being that this is week 5 of the pantry challenge, it's starting to get interesting in terms of what I have left in the pantry and whatever substitutions I need to make and things of that nature. So without further ado, let's get cooking. Oh, before we do, last week I didn't have a dinner video because I was away from home, which is my version of out of the office, basically doing an arbitration. So I was staying in a hotel and I was, they were paying for my food. So I basically ordered in and allowed them to pay for my food. So you won't see a ton of dishes this week, but you'll see more. All right. So without further ado, let's get cooking. So here's the super simple breakfast that I like to make on mornings when I can barely be bothered. Here I have 2 hard-boiled eggs, and these hard-boiled eggs give me 12 grams of protein, 12 to 14, but we're going to be conservative and say 12 because there's 6 each. And then I also have 3 of these breakfast sausages. I think they're Amy Lou chicken sausages, and I think I got them from either Sam's or Costco. Just check the back of your sausage packet and make sure that 3 weight or however many weights you have, gives you 12 grams of protein. So these are 12, which is 24 grams. There are 4 grams in my whole wheat English muffin. I think this is only 100 calories. And there are additional 3 grams in each slice of cheese that I have here. This is Kraft. If you get Borden, you would have 4 grams of protein in each slice of cheese. So I have 12, 24, 28, plus 8 or plus 6. So I have well over 30 grams of protein here in this breakfast. And it keeps me full because it's so full of protein. And it also satisfies me because it gives me a little bit of carb, a little bit of fat, a little bit of, whatever flavor. And I love hard-boiled eggs. Now, instead of making them hard-boiled, you can scramble them. You can make them over hard. You can do whatever the heck you want. Over easy with runny yolks. I don't like it that way. You might. The point is, it's really easy to get over 30 grams of protein with your first meal of the day. And this is one way that you can do it. And this is what I do when I'm feeling particularly lazy. Now, I saw this guy on Instagram who also does something similar. I guess he has more calories and more of a bigger stomach, but he does 6 sausages, it looked like, and he did like 3 hard-boiled eggs, and he didn't go with this carby thing over here. He actually just did fruit. So that was his way of getting over 30 grams of protein in the morning, and that's what he called his lazy breakfast. Do you. I'll do me, you do you. All right. All right, so we're gonna make some salmon patties for breakfast. I've made these before, but I never made them like this. And I'm doing them like this for a reason. Because I've been watching, other creators or whatever make them. And I wanted to find a way to make them a little bit more tasty, a little bit more cohesive, and a little bit more delicious, right? So what I have in this bowl is some peppers and onions that I had they were frozen and I could pretty much cook them a little bit on the stovetop. I have a can of salmon and I have an egg that I went ahead and beat. And I'm gonna add a little bit, just to bind them, of breadcrumbs. I don't wanna add too many because I'm not trying to make this. So that was like 3 tablespoons. I'm not trying to make this extremely carby. I'm really more interested in the protein that I can get from this dish. So, in a perfect world, I would have those pork rinds. You know how they have the breadcrumbs made of pork rinds? That way there wouldn't be any carbs in here at all. Because I want to be going on this kick, not this video, but the next video of making some keto/low carb dishes in an effort to curb and improve my blood sugar levels. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm mixing in the breadcrumbs, the salmon. I had taken out the bones. This is canned salmon, the vegetables that I made. And I'm doing it this way because I think I've been watching, like everybody else, or like so many people, I watched the Food Network for years, right? And you had all those chefs talking to you about, oh, you need to keep them light. You don't want to overmix them. You don't want to, you don't want them to be dry. So I'm trying to make these with just enough of ingredients to bind them, not too many fillers, well seasoned, and moist. All right, so now I'm adding, let me do this the right way. Now I'm going to add some Old Bay because what are fish cakes with no Old Bay, right? You got to have Old Bay. So I did the Kennedy's with fried garlic, and now I'm doing Old Bay. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of Old Bay. And you saw me put a little bit of the Kennedy's with fried garlic. And really, that's going to be all the seasonings I need for this. Because if you ask me, the Old Bay is almost enough in and of itself. But together with the Kennedy's with fried garlic, that's going to be plenty of salt, but also some roasted garlic flavor or wood fired garlic flavor. All right. So now what I'm going to do is something else I learned while watching the Food Network. I'm going to form these into patties, and I'm going to put the patties in the refrigerator for, a few minutes to let them form up and firm up. Okay. So we're going to divide this supposedly into 4 equal parts. Now, in the perfect world, I would weigh these bad boys, but the world is not perfect and I have work to do. So I will tell you that this is the easiest I have formed patties, fish cakes, with any mix I've had in a long time. And I think it's because of the onions and the peppers. They're keeping the patties moist. Also because they're breadcrumbs. Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty impressed. They're feeling substantial. They're feeling moist. And this is different than when I cooked them last time on one of my other videos. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm going to put these bad boys in the refrigerator. Do you see how fantastic they came out? Oh, yeah. I'm going to put these bad boys in the refrigerator, and then I'll come back to you when it's time to cook them. All right. All right. So the alarm went off on the potatoes. I had them in here. I was making breakfast potatoes, like usual, for 45 minutes. And now we're going to see whether or not they're cooked. So let us check them out. All right. So I'm going to actually taste this one here and see whether or not they're cooked. Mm. They are perfectly cooked and they're delicious. And because I cook them all at the same size, I use my cutter, my chopper that you've seen me use or whatever to get the potatoes at a pretty uniform size. I know they're all cooked. So we're good to go. They're not crispy, which is fine. Sometimes I make them a little too crispy. They're actually perfectly cooked, like just creamy, which is perfect. All right. Now, in this pot over here, I have our salmon patties. And we're going to just fry them up hard on one side and then flip them. They're pretty much already cooked. But when you cook them like this, you give them like a little bit of a crust, which is optimal. And that also helps keep them together. So I'm going to cook these up and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to flip them. All right. All right. So now I'm going to try to flip them. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of nervous. So let's see. Oh. And I think I'm flipping them just in time, considering how dark that is. Whoa. I guess the moral of the story is don't wait as long as I did. Flip them. I was doing other things. I got distracted, putting the potatoes away, and I'm getting into a container. Blah blah. So obviously, I'm not going to cook them on the other side for as long. They're just this side of burn. Okay, so these didn't hold up the way I would like them to. Maybe they needed more or less breadcrumbs or moisture. But I have breakfast for 3 more days with these, and I'm actually gonna have one this morning. Now, each serving of salmon, of the canned salmon that I use, has 17 grams of protein. So there are 5 servings in each can. When I divide it up, that makes each one of these that means there's like 85 in total in terms of how much grams of protein there were in the whole can. And I divided it up by 4, so I'm getting at least 20, possibly 21 grams of protein with the salmon alone. I'm gonna have this with some toast, and I'm using Nature's Own whole wheat bread, which is 60 calories a slice, and each slice has 3 grams of protein. That'll be an additional 6, making it 26 grams of protein. And then I'm also gonna have some cheese. And each one of these slices has three grams of protein. So I'm getting over 30 grams of protein with this breakfast. And it isn't ridiculously calorific, which is great too. It's 120 for the bread. I don't know, maybe 50 or so for each slice of cheese, probably less. And whatever the salmon is, the egg and the breadcrumbs, which won't be ridiculously high. So I'm excited. And even if it's not over a 400 or 500 calorie breakfast, I'm getting over 30 grams of protein. So I'm pretty happy. All right. So now I'm going to grab my toast, which just came out, and I'm going to put the slightest bit of, I can't believe there's not butter on it. I do have real butter in the refrigerator. This is just easier to spread, even though it's terrible for you. Now, if you wonder why I eat so much toast and cheese or English muffins and cheese in the morning, it's actually nostalgic for me. My father was originally from Panama. Panama. He came over as an adult, and he went straight into the military. And he and like 4 of his brothers served, so they're all veterans in the military, and that's where they met my mother. And back then, you can get your citizenship by serving in the military. And he actually went through the Vietnam War, so they're both like war veterans, which is pretty wild. And he still has a problem, driving over bridges. He's gotten a lot better, but apparently he saw his best friend blow up in a bridge during the war. But I digress. So when I was 9, we were able to have, I visited Panama as a little girl. And that was a long time ago. That was well over 40 years ago. And, my father's family was poor, so they couldn't afford to have like fancy food all the time. And they ate a lot of toast and cheese for breakfast. And I kind of grew up eating toast and cheese, even though it's not the best thing for you. So I'm going to be extremely happy with my toast and cheese and my salmon cake for breakfast. And that's what I'm going to have. All right. So I probably should have brought you over here for the taste test before I started eating this. But I'm going to go ahead and do the taste test now so you can see or hear how it is. Mmm. The salmon patty is moist, it's tender, it's well seasoned, it's delicious. And I think it's the vegetables that keep it moist. And definitely the Old Bay and the Kinder's wood fired garlic that gives it that great seasoned taste. So I'm extremely happy with these. And even if, one of them breaks apart a little bit, I'll be happy to have a little salmon on the side of my toast in the morning. So this is breakfast for the next 3 days. All right. All right. It's time to meal prep again. And in this pot, I've already cooked off the turkey that's going into our breakfast. So I'm making 2 meals this morning. I'm making breakfast burritos, and I'm also making a beef dish, a Moroccan beef dish with 7-spice seasoning. So I've already cooked off, I don't know why, I've already cooked off in this pot the turkey, and I have it in a bowl, and now I'm going to cook off the eggs. And I'm going to cook off the eggs in the same pot because why mess up more than one pot? I sure as heck don't love doing dishes, right? I mean, I don't know anybody who does. I threw a little tiny bit of butter in this pot, and I'm also going to use, because this is what it says I should use, some spread. And what I'm going to do is pour off the eggs into this pot, which is probably not nearly as hot enough as I need it. And I'm cooking with 8 eggs because I'm doubling the recipe. So the turkey I used came from that bottom drawer in my freezer, that bottomless bottom drawer with stuff in there that I didn't even know what it was. But there was a bag of turkey in there, thank goodness. And it was frozen almost to edge of freezer burn. So I wasn't even sure whether or not it was turkey. It could have been chicken for that matter, but it was turkey. So we got lucky. And now that I know I have turkey, I'm going to go ahead and cook up these breakfast burritos because I just ran out of salmon patties and I'm hungry. This is what, how you end up meal prepping, right? So I figured I might as well make breakfast for a few days. All right. So while this cooks, we're going to move on to our beef dish and do what we can to go to the next step. All right. So now the eggs have cooked. I'm going to go ahead and put those into the bowl along with the turkey. And this is going to be our filling for the breakfast burritos. Okay, so now I'm going to make the nacho cheese sauce, the vegan nacho cheese sauce that I like to make, usually every week. And what I should have done when I made it last time was frozen a cup of it or a jar of it. I didn't do that. If I had, I wouldn't have to make it again today. I would actually have it ready for this dish. But I didn't do that. So what we're going to do is go ahead and prepare the ingredients for this. Now, today, I don't have one of the seasonings that I normally make for my vegan nacho cheese sauce. One of the seasonings that I normally use, I don't make this seasoning, and that's chipotle powder. Because it's pantry challenge, I can't just go ahead and buy more chipotle powder. So what I'm going to do is use a substitute that I have in my cabinet. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to use the substitute, but I'm a little nervous about it because it's not just chipotle flavor, which is normally what I get out of chipotle powder. It's going to be this. And what this is Tia Lupita, sauce, Tia Lupita chipotle low sodium sauce. And the problem with using something like this instead of a plain seasoning is that it has other ingredients. It has like vinegar, for example, salt, a little bit of garlic, and a few other ingredients that would normally be in the straight out chipotle powder. But I don't really have a choice because if I want chipotle flavor in this bad boy, I'm gonna have to use it. All right, so let's put in some of the seasonings for now. We're gonna put in 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. So that's what that says. We're gonna put in 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and 1 tablespoon is 3, obviously, teaspoons. We're gonna put in 1 large clove of garlic. We're gonna put in, it says 2 teaspoons of chipotle powder. I'm gonna try to see how it tastes with 1 teaspoon of this chipotle sauce. You know what? What the hell? I'll put in 2 teaspoons because if I'm feeling ornery. Okay. And just pray it's gonna be okay. And all right, so I'm gonna also need a teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons, tablespoons of lemon juice. But because this is concentrated, remember, I don't have lemons up in here. So I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of concentrated lemon juice because 3 would be a bit much, and I don't want this tasting like lemon. And we already have extra acid in here from the vinegar that's in the sauce. All right, and then half a cup of nutritional yeast. That's a quarter cup. And that's half a cup. All right, because that's the end of the container. And then I need, okay, so I have the cashews in here, the tomato paste, the nutritional yeast, the seasonings, the garlic. So I need a cup of water, and that's my last ingredient. I'm gonna go ahead and put a cup of water in this bad boy, and then we're gonna go ahead and mix it, and we'll see how it tastes. All right, so here you can see that this came out really beautifully. And what I'm gonna do is taste a little bit and see if it needs anything. Mm. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit less, the teensy is the less spicy than I sometimes make it, but it's delicious. Oh my goodness, it's maybe even better than what I normally make, which I didn't think was possible. Eh, mm. All right. So I'm gonna put them into 2 containers that look like this. I'm gonna put some into this 1 container, and then I'm gonna pour the rest into our mixture. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm making up for the 3 ounces of cheese that's supposed to go into the recipe. Why use cheese when you can have nacho cheese sauce? And I find that the cheese, that they have you put into those burritos don't really match the flavor as much as something like this. So I'm gonna put some of this into the freezer so I have it for next time. And then I'm gonna put some of this into our bowl. I'd say about that much for now. And we will see if we need more. So also going into this bowl is gonna be some salsa. And I think that's the last ingredient. Okay. So I cooked the beef, I mean, the ground turkey in, and I doubled these. But the original recipe called for only a half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter plus 1/8 a teaspoon of black pepper, a third a teaspoon of ground sage, a third teaspoon of ground thyme, an eighth of a teaspoon of dried marjoram, an eighth of a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. That all went into the turkey. an eighth of a teaspoon of paprika, and then it called for 4 eggs. I always think that these things need more seasoning. So I went ahead and just put a full teaspoon of sage, a full teaspoon of thyme, a full teaspoon of marjoram, or a half teaspoon of marjoram, and a half teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. And I just used maybe most of a teaspoon of paprika. I like my stuff seasoned. So I added more to it. When you cook this dish based off of the recipe, because it's based off of a recipe, which I'll leave a link to in the description, you can feel free to add more seasonings like I did. Calls for 4 eggs because I had so much turkey, and this one only called for a half a pound of turkey, and I used a full pound, if not a little more. I'm also going to use 8 eggs, and it calls for a quarter cup of salsa. Because I'm using a liquid cheese, I might actually use only the quarter cup and keep it that way instead of upping it to the half cup. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this all in, and then I'm going to start rolling out these burritos. So I'll come back to you. All right, so what we're going to do is put in some filling. And since this is a larger burrito, I'm using more filling. Let's hope that works out. So what I'm going to do is pinch it in, pinch it in, pinch it in, and roll it. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the wrapper. Pinch it in, and roll it. That's one burrito down. So these larger burritos are the La Banderita Keto Carb Counter burritos, and they have 90 calories apiece. So they're kind of calorific. Um, if you're like pinching for calories. I'm a big girl, so right now I can afford to have more calories to lose weight. But then as I lose the weight, I'm going to have less calories. But anyway, so what I'm doing here is doing the same thing I did before. I put in like a cup worth of filling. And I'm pinching it in, and rolling it. All right. And that's just me taking some of that burrito filling off the paper. I'm doing the same thing to paper. Pinching it in, folding it over, pinching it in, and rolling it. So that's 2 burritos down. All right. The reason why I'm rolling these burritos in parchment paper is because some of them, can go in the refrigerator and they'll hold that way when I put some foil around them, or not, for me to heat up later in the week. And some of them can go in the freezer. The ones that are going into the freezer are going to have foil around them, and they're going to go into a Ziploc bag or freezer bag. Now, these are those protein tortillas you saw me buy in an earlier video in the series from Aldi's. Now, these protein ones have more protein than a La Banderita. The La Banderita ones had 5 grams of protein in the tortilla. These here, they're called Luben, L''OBEN fresh. They are more calorific. They're 120 calories, but they have 12 grams of protein. So it's worth it. All right, so these are smaller burritos. So I put a little bit left of the filling in there. And because these are smaller burritos, I tend to use maybe 2 of these or 1.5 in the morning. Although I gotta tell you, because there's more protein in here, sometimes I save the second one for later in the morning. Like, I might not be able to eat both at the same time because these are pretty heavy on the stomach. So, but they're just as delicious. Let me just make sure it's all going to get in here. They're just as delicious and nutritious. But theoretically, just these 2 wraps alone are like 24 grams of things. Then you add in the eggs, the turkey, and blah, blah, blah. You got like a really heavy high-fat food that will keep you full until well into the afternoon. All right, so you can see it can do it to the much larger, heavy meal, and this is substantially heavy. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the rest of these bad boys, and then come back to you. All right, since I know that I'm gonna be eating these this week, I'm not gonna wrap them in foil. I'm just gonna put them in the parchment paper into the freezer bag. So I know I have breakfast for 3 more days, right? And then I'm gonna take this other one and I'm gonna make it this morning. So whew, this is like heavy. Serious food. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and brown this in the pot like I normally do. I'm also gonna put away the remainder of my sauce into another jar just so I have it. And I already put the other one in the freezer, so we're good to go. And we have nacho cheese sauce, vegan nacho cheese sauce in the freezer for another day. All right. All right. So y'all, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you know how I like to do my burritos of any type. I like to put a little bit of ghee into the pot because it melts better and it has a higher smoking point. And my favorite ghee to use is this organic ghee from Thrive Market. It's one of their better products. And Thrive Market is an online membership site where for as little as $5 a month, you can get a whole host of organic products, and any products that you need for your dietary needs. Like, for example, if you're gluten-free, or if you're celiac, or if you're keto, or any other diet that you may have, carnivore, Thrive Market has a whole host of products that you can use for your needs. And you get them at discount prices. You get them for up to 30% off, which is what I love about it. And what I love about this ghee, let me put this seam side down so it doesn't mess up. What I like about this ghee is that it's organic, it's pure, and it's not expensive, and it lasts a little bit, goes a long way, and it lasts a really long time. I also like to buy other products, like for example, my body wash. I like to buy a Lafia body wash, which I get there, and other types of products that I buy from Thrive Market as often as I want to. You can also earn Thrive Cash, which gives you discounts on products or whatever that you can use toward your purchases. Thrive Market is a membership site where you can buy all types of products that are organic, gluten-free, or whatever your values are. You can buy everything from meat and seafood, believe it or not, to pantry items, snacks and other items, beverages, frozen items for babies and kids, health supplements, for example, personal care and beauty items, household items, and pet items. And you can filter your results when you search for items according to whatever it is that's important to you. For example, if you want to buy items that are Whole30 approved, or that are certified organic, or that are glyphosate residue free, or that are kosher, or that are gluten free, for example, even certified halal, you can do that. You can even get vegan products here that are certified vegan. You can get health supplements that are dairy free, items that are low in sugar, and things of that nature. So you can actually clean your products for whatever it is that's important to you. For example, fed items, or items that are pasture raised, for example, or items that are made by companies that were founded by Blacks and people of color, for example. You can actually scan for that and filter for that. The membership is $60 a year or $5 a month. It's $60 as long as you cancel it within 30 days. You'll get a full fund. So that's the great thing. And when you use my link to go ahead and get your annual membership, you'll get 40% off your first order. Now, the items here are typically 30 to 30% off of full retail. But if you find a lower price anywhere online and you're able to get that information to them, they will reimburse you for the difference between what you paid and the lowest price in Thrive Market Cash, which means you'll be able to use that toward any future purchase. And shipping is free if it's on all Aussie orders that are over 49 bucks. So these items are not only available to you, they're not only items that may be hard to find, they're not only items that that are organic and glyphosate free and things of that nature, but they get shipped directly to your house. And if you buy $50 worth of groceries, for example, from here, they're shipped for free. So it's perfect. And I use this to do things like buy teas, like certified organic teas, or sometimes I like to buy spices, in bulk from Thrive Market. I like to buy my ghee from Thrive Market. I like to buy my body wash from Thrive Market. I like to buy certain things from here definitely, and it's definitely a resource for me in my effort to save money and to be healthy and to lose weight. If you decide to go ahead and use my link to sign up, you'll get 40% off your first cart, and I will get $40 in Thrive Market cash. So it'll be mutually beneficial. Let me know if you sign up. Let me know if you like it. All right, so here we have the end result, and let's see how this bad boy tastes. Mmm. Mmm. This, y'all, is really good. I don't have nearly as many potatoes as I normally have in my meals. I only have like maybe half a cup of maybe a cup of potatoes for the entire bowl of filling, but this is delicious. Between the well-seasoned turkey, the eggs, which I put salt and pepper in too, and a splash of water. It's just, and the sauce that I made up, delicious. So you definitely want to try this. You definitely want to have some of these in your freezer for days where you can't be bothered making breakfast, but you can take this out the night before, put it in your refrigerator to defrost, go in the microwave for a minute, just to warm up the insides, or a minute and a half, and then crisp up in the pot, girl or guy, whoever you are. You will enjoy the heck out of this. All right, I'm gonna go have my breakfast and get on with my day. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and got value out of it and got some ideas about some high protein breakfasts that you can make where you can get in those 30 grams of protein. All right. And in the next video, like I told you, we're going to be doing some high protein dinners. So you'll be able to see that. And that video will be coming out soon. And if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, let me know that you enjoy it. And let me know in the comments some high protein breakfasts that you like to make. And let me know in the comments some dishes that you want to see me make. All right. So let me know in the comments below what dishes you want to see me make. And let me know about some high protein breakfasts you like to make. All right there. Take care. And I'll see you in the next video.